There once was a man who had 3 sons, the youngest of whom was called Dummling, and was despised and mocked and sneered at every occasion. It happened that the eldest wanted to go out into the forest to hew wood, and before he went, his mother gave him a beautiful sweet cake and a bottle of wine. She gave this to him in order that he might not suffer from hunger or thirst. When he entered the forest, he met a little gray-haired old man who bade him good day and said, "Oh, but please, do give me a piece of cake out of your pocket, and let me have a draught of your wine. I'm ever so hungry and thirsty." "Oh, but the clever son," he answered, "if I give you my cake and my wine, well, I shall have none for myself. Get out of here! I don't want to give you anything." And so he left the little old man standing there, and well, he just went on about his business. But when he began to hew down the tree, it was not long before he made a false stroke, and the axe, it cut him deeply into the arm, and so that he had to go home and have it bound up, and this was the little gray man's doing. Now after this, the second son went out into the forest. His mother gave him, just like the eldest, a cake and a bottle of wine. The little gray man met this one, and likewise had asked him for a piece of cake and maybe a drink of his wine, but oh, the second son, he too said, sensibly enough, "Well, what if I give you what I have? It will be taken away, and what will be for myself? Be off with you." And he left the little man standing there, and he went on about his business. His punishment, however, was not delayed. When he had made a few blows at the tree, he struck himself in the leg, and well, so had to be carried home. Then Dummling said, oh father, do let me go and cut some wood." The father answered, "Your brothers, they've hurt themselves. I think you should just leave it alone. You do not understand anything about cutting down wood." But Dummling, he begged so, and he begged, and at last he said, "Please, father, just let me go." And so the father said, "Just go on then. You will get wiser by hurting yourself, I suppose." And his mother gave him a cake, and this cake was made with water and baked in the cinders. And, well, instead of wine, he got a bottle of beer. When he came to the forest, the little grey man met him there, likewise, and greeted him. He said, "Excuse me, could you give me a piece of your cake and a drink from your bottle? I'm so hungry, so thirsty." Dummling answered, "Well, I have only cinder cake and some sour beer, but if it pleases we can sit down and eat it." And so they sat down, and when Dummling pulled out his cinder cake, it was turned into a fine sweet cake, and why, the beer become a good wine. And so they ate and they drank, and after that the little man said, "You know, since you have such a good heart and are willing to divide whatever you have, I will give you good luck. Over there, see that tree over there? Cut it down. You will find something at the roots." And then the little man took leave. Dummling went and cut down the tree, and when it fell, there was the most miraculous sight there. A goose sitting in the roots with feathers of pure gold. He lifted her up and, taking her with him, went on into an inn where he thought he could stay for the night. Now the host had 3 daughters, and when they saw that goose, they were quite curious about it and wanted to know how such a wonderful bird might be, and they would like to maybe have one of its golden feathers. The eldest thought, "I shall soon find the opportunity to pull out one of its feathers." And as soon as Dummling had gone out, she seized the goose by the wing, and, well, her finger in her hand had remained stuck fast to the goose. The second daughter came forward, thinking only of how she might get a feather for herself. She had scarcely touched her sister when she was held fast. At last came the third daughter, with like intent. The others, they screamed out, "Oh, keep away! For goodness sake, don't touch us! Keep away!" Oh, but she did not understand. What she was to keep away for, she didn't know. She just went right ahead with it. The others are there, she thought. I may as well be there too, and so she ran to them, and, well, she stuck out her hand and she touched her sister's. She remained sticking fast to her sister, and, well, they had to spend the night with the goose. In the morning, Dummling took the goose up under his arm and set out, without even troubling himself about the 3 girls who were hanging on to it. They were obliged to run after him continually, now left and then right and then again left, wherever his legs took him. Now in the middle of the fields, the parson saw them. And when he saw the lad and the goose and the 3 girls, he yelled out, for shame! You good-for-nothing girls, look at you! Why are you running across the fields after this young man? Is that seemly? Well, at the same time, he seized the youngest one by the hand in order to pull her away. But as soon as he touched her, he was likewise stuck fast himself, and he was obliged to run behind. Now before long, the sexton came up behind them, and he saw his master. He was astonished at what he saw. He saw the parson running behind 3 girls, and the 3 girls were touching a goose, and there was a lad there, and he was so astonished at what he saw, he yelled out, "Hello, hey-ho, your reverence! Whither away you so quickly? Stop! Do not forget that you have a christening today." And after running up on him, he took him by the sleeve. But as soon as he did that, he found out he was held fast as well. Now whilst the 5 were trotting about thus behind the other, tripping about left and right, well, 2 laborers came out. They came out with their hoes, on the fields and the paths, and he called out to them and he begged them. He just simply begged them that they would set him and the sexton free, but they had scarcely touched the sexton when they too were held fast. And now there were 7 of them running about, here and there, left and right, up and down, behind the dumpling and his goose. Soon afterwards he came to a city where a king ruled, who had a daughter who was so serious that, no one could make her laugh. So he had put forth a decree that whomsoever shall make her laugh should marry her. And when Dumpling heard this, he went with his goose and all the train before him to the king. And he met the daughter of the king. Soon she saw all those 7 people running in, running about, up and down, one behind the other, left to right and left to right it went, and hopping there and hopping there, and she began to laugh quite loudly, as if she could never stop. Thereupon Dumpling asked to have her for his wife. But the king, he really did not like a son-in-law who was so stupid, and he made all manner of excuses and said that Dumpling must first produce a man who could drink a cellar full of wine. Dumpling thought the little grey man, it would certainly help him, and so he went into the forest, and in the same place where he had felled that tree, he saw the man sitting there, and he had such a sorrowful look on his face. Dumpling asked him why he was taking to heart so sorely. And the little grey man, he answered, he said, "Oh, I have such a great thirst. I cannot quench it. Cold water I cannot stand. A barrel of wine, I've just emptied it, and I still am so thirsty. That to me is just like a drop on a hot stone." "Well, I know how I can help you," said the Dumpling. "Just come with me, and you shall be satisfied." And so the Dumpling led the little grey man into the king's cellar, and the man bent over the huge barrels, and he drank and he drank and he drank until his loins hurt. And before the day was out, he had emptied every single barrel. The Dumpling asked once more for the bride that he was promised. But the king, he was vexed. Such a dumb and ugly fellow whom everyone called Dumpling should take away his daughter. He made a new condition. He must first find a man who could eat a whole mountain of bread. Dumpling, he did not think long. He went straight to the forest, where in that same place he saw the little grey man sitting there by the tree where he had cut it down. Oh, he was tying up his body with a strap and making an awful face. And he kept saying over and over again, "Oh, I've eaten a whole oven full of rolls, but what good is that when one has such a hunger as I do? Oh, my stomach, it remains empty. Oh, I must tie myself up. Oh, my tummy. I'm going to die of hunger." At this the Dumpling was glad, and he said, "Oh, wait, get up, come with me, and you shall eat yourself full." Well, he led the little grey man to the king's palace, where all the flour in the whole of the kingdom was collected. From it was made a huge mountain of bread. The man from the forest stood before it and began to eat. By the end of one day, the whole mountain had vanished. Then the dumpling, for the third time, asked for his bride. But the king again sought a way out. He ordered a ship which could sail on land and on the water. And as soon as you bring this ship to me and come sailing back into it, you shall have my daughter for life, and you will be married. Well, Dumpling went straight into the forest, and there sat the little gray man, to whom he had given his cake. And when he heard what Dumpling wanted, he said, "Well, since you have given me so much to eat and drink, well, I will give you a ship. And I will do all of this because you were once kind to me." Then he gave him the ship, which could sail on the land and on the water. And when the king saw that, he could no longer prevent him from marrying his daughter. The wedding was celebrated. And after the king's death, Dumpling, he inherited the kingdom, and he lived for a long time contentedly with his beautiful wife.